It was a gloomy autumn afternoon when curiosity got the best of me. I found myself standing in front of the old, dilapidated house that had always intrigued me. The stories of its haunting past had spread like wildfire through the town. Nobody dared to step foot inside. But that day, I let my curiosity get the best of me. Pushing the creaking gate open, I hesitated for a moment before crossing the threshold. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness as I stepped into the forgotten house. The sunlight struggled to pierce through the layers of dust that coated the windows, casting eerie shadows on the worn wooden floors. My heart pounded in my chest, and an uneasy feeling settled in my stomach. But I was determined to quell my fears and explore the place that had been abandoned for decades. The first room I entered was adorned with tattered, peeling wallpaper and ancient furniture draped in dusty sheets. It was as if time had frozen, leaving behind a frozen tableau of the past. As I moved deeper into the house, I could feel a growing sense of unease. The air grew colder, and the atmosphere seemed to shift around me. I told myself it was just my imagination, but the feeling of being watched became stronger with each step. I climbed a decaying staircase, its steps groaning under my weight. The upper floor was even more dilapidated than the first. Doors hung ajar on rusted hinges, revealing rooms frozen in disarray. I entered one room, and a chill shot down my spine. A children's room, filled with toys covered in dust, stared back at me. A forgotten laughter seemed to echo in the silence, sending shivers down my spine. I forced myself to keep moving, drawn further into the bowels of the house. The corridor stretched like a labyrinth, and I stumbled upon a small, hidden door. The handle was icy cold, and I hesitated for a moment before turning it. The room beyond was pitch black, and an ominous presence seemed to radiate from within. As I stepped cautiously into the room, the door slammed shut behind me. Panic surged through my veins, and I fumbled for my phone to use as a flashlight. The weak beam of light revealed a room adorned with faded paintings that seemed to follow my every move. I swallowed hard, trying to ignore the feeling that someone, or something, was watching me. A faint whisper floated through the air, so soft that I could barely make out the words. My heart raced as I strained to hear. "Get out." My breath hitched, and I stumbled backward, desperately reaching for the doorknob. It wouldn't budge. I tugged harder, my heart pounding in my ears. The room seemed to close in around me, and the walls appeared to pulse with a malevolent energy. Suddenly, a low, guttural growl rumbled from the darkest corner of the room. My blood turned to ice, and I felt a presence behind me. I turned, and my breath caught in my throat. There, standing in the shadows, was a figure, a distorted, twisted silhouette with hollow eyes that bore into my soul. Terror consumed me, and I screamed, pounding on the door with all my might. The figure started to move toward me, its movements unnatural and jerky. Just as its hand stretched out, fingers like elongated claws, the door gave way, and I stumbled back into the corridor. I raced down the stairs, taking them two at a time, not daring to look back. The air was suffocating, and the walls seemed to close in on me as I desperately searched for the exit. Finally, I burst through the front door, gasping for air and stumbling onto the overgrown lawn. I didn't stop running until I was far away from that accursed house. The feeling of being followed lingered, and even in the safety of daylight, I couldn't shake the feeling that the twisted figure was still lurking in the shadows, waiting for its next victim. To this day, I can't erase the memory of that day from my mind. The whispers, the feeling of being watched, the malevolent presence. That house holds secrets darker than the night, and it's a place I pray I'll never find myself in again.